Hello guys. You know what time it is. Like, I did make some tea, so you should go make yourself some tea as well. I just made milky Earl Grey tea tonight, which has kind of become my favorite tea, low-key. It's not topping chamomile, but you know, it may be second or third favorite. Let's get into it. Starting off with the books that I just bought from the bookstore. I literally went to the bookstore today, like 2 hours ago, and I bought 2 books from my favorite local indie bookstore. The first one is a pretty exciting read for me because I just talked about the first book to this series in my February wrap-up, and I got the second book, A Prayer for the Crown Shy by Becky Chambers. I'm not really sure what's going to be happening in this book because book 1 didn't really end off on a cliffhanger or anything. I'm not sure, but it's book 2. I really liked book 1. A little eco-criticism, a little whimsical, cozy fantasy, low stakes, quick read, short read. I loved it. What can I say? No complaints. This is the author that I'm really trying to get into this year because during the fall time, I think, I want to pick up the Wayward series by Becky Chambers, which is, the first book is A Long Way Home to a Small Angry Planet. That one is also at my favorite bookstore, so you know what I'm saying? I may spin the block and pick that one up. Just saying. I'm running out of Becky Chambers content on my bookshelf. You know what I'm saying? If I'm reading the books, I can get myself more books, you know? I don't really know. I need to stop making excuses for myself. I really do. This is a book now that I've heard about, like, literally from one person. I was like, ooh. And I put it at the, like, tippy top of my TBR, especially for my Around the World reading challenge. This will count for my Around the World reading challenge for Korea. I heard about this book from Paperbacks and Daisies before I left Instagram, saw her review, and she was talking about it. She rated it 4 stars. It just sounded so good to me, and I'm like, I need like a whimsical, cozy fantasy book that kind of gives middle grade vibes, but is written for an adult audience. Like, I need that right now, and that's what this book is, which is The Dallargood Dream Department Store by Mai Lee. Basically, what I'm gathering from that review and what I'm gathering from the synopsis is that this book is about this dream department store that sells dreams, and animals and humans go there to buy their next adventure for when they go to sleep. Each floor in the dream department store is like that 5-story Barnes & Noble in New York City. Like, that's probably what I'm going to be imagining when I'm reading this book. And each floor specializes in a different type of dream. So one floor is for childhood memories. The other floor is for food dreams, things like that. And I'm pretty sure the main character actually works at the dream department store. I don't know. All of those vibes, to me, is just giving me everything I need in my life right now. I want to do like an Around the World reading vlog where I read some books from different countries for my Around the World reading challenge. So this could possibly be a book for that vlog. So yes, I had to get it. I had to, like, I just crack under pressure. And then this gorgeous cover, both of these covers. Oh my goodness, girl. Yes. I love a good cover. Okay. Got those 2 today. These next 2 I bought from Barnes. An Immense World by Ed Young. Y'all know I'm infatuated and obsessed with nature nonfiction, nature fiction, eco-criticism fiction, eco-fiction, environmental fiction, like anything environment, I'm there. I'm obsessed with it. I'm in love with it. It's like a niche subgenre that just like really scratches a specific spot in my brain. I love it. This book is giving those vibes, and it's written by a science journalist. Just so much in the synopsis on the back that just really brought me in. I was like, yeah, you're coming home with me. Hopefully it's good. I mean, it's hard to not be good because you're talking about nature, and that's all I need to hear. Okay, also in my February reading wrap up, I talked about how I DNF Parable of the Sower. and I am clearing the air. I am still going to be reading some Octavia Butler, just not Parable. I just cannot do it to myself. But I did buy Bloodchild, which I'm sure, yeah, Bloodchild and Other Stories. So this is a short story collection by Octavia Butler. And I feel like this will be a good starter to like dip my feet in the water with Octavia Butler. I think this is like a good place to start with her. Just get a few stories, just a little bit of like a taste test with her writing and all of that. And from what I read with Parable, the amount that I did read, I did really like her writing. I just cannot read the premise of the story of Parable of the Sower right now. I just can't. You know what I'm saying? But I think I could be able to stomach some of her other writing. So I got Bloodchild, and we'll go from there with her. A series that I'm really, really excited to be starting, and an author whose backlist I want to read this year, Rachel Carson. This book is the C trilogy. I got this used online. This is the Library of America copy, which I'm obsessed with those editions. The Library of America editions are everything to me. I love them. I love a book that's like a bind up of a bunch of books, or a bind up of a bunch of essays, or a bind up of a bunch of books and essays. I love them because I'm trying to save as much space as possible on my bookshelf. I would much prefer to have one book with 3 books in it than 3 books. And that's what this is. This is the C trilogy. Not really sure what it's about, but it's Rachel Carson. So I don't really need to know. I plan to read Silent Spring this month, hopefully. Cross my fingers. That is like the book at the top of my TBR right now. Rachel Carson, I've got to get into her writing. The Book of Tea by Kakuzo Okakura. This is a very, very short book. 89 pages long. And it's kind of like a concise, brief history of tea, medicinal tea, how tea became a luxury, and like how tea became a ritual. And it's a lot about the culture of Japan. Pretty sure I'm going to read it this spring, because I feel like that's the best time to read a book about a tea. So those are the books that I bought recently. A really good haul, in my opinion. Like, all of these, I'm pretty sure are going to be some really solid reads, if not new favorites. Yeah, and all of them I do plan to read over the next like 2 or 3 months. Moving on to my library haul, which are books that I plan to read over the next 2-3 weeks, like this month, because you know they gotta be returned. I'm so excited about these because I'm back in my romance bag. Like, we have Queen Charlotte by Julia Quinn and Shonda Rhimes. I have never read any of the Bridgerton books. I'm not really interested in reading the Bridgerton books because none of the couples really, you know, do it for me. But I watch clips of Queen Charlotte to go to sleep sometimes. Like, this is like one of my comfort shows. I love Queen Charlotte. One of my favorite romance tropes in books and in shows is when a character has to take care of another character because they're sick. It gives me life. It gives me life. The tension going on throughout the show, it's so good to me. And I've never read the book, and I've never really been interested in reading the book until recently, where I was like rewatching clips from the show. I was like, I've got to read this book. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm probably missing out on something amazing. I'm beyond excited. George, I know, is like a little bit of a astronomy science nerd. I'm giggly. I'm excited. Then a book that I really was like, okay, maybe I'll give it a chance. I'm kind of surprised that I put this one on hold and that I checked it out and that I decided to try to give it a chance, because I didn't love the first book of this series, but this book did catch my interest, which is This Could Be Us. Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan is the first book of the series. Y'all know how I feel about the trope where it's like the other woman or other man trope, where it's like we've got random people in here not involved with the romance that I'm reading about. I don't know, the main characters dating anybody other than their soulmate. which is the love interest. That always stresses me out. I hate it so much, and I talked about that in my February wrap-up. I'm not going to go down that rant again, but I hate it so much. And that book had so much of it, it had my blood pressure going. You know what I'm saying? It stressed me out. I hate that trope so much. Oh my gosh. Moving past it. I'm over it. This Could Be Us. I heard that the friendship in this book is just so good. I'm reading it more so for the friendship than the romance because I don't know. I absolutely adore Rio by Kennedy Ryan, but Before I Let Go wasn't my favorite. So I'm going to see how this one holds up. I heard that the MMC in this book, the male main character, is obsessed with Soledad the second that he meets her, which is what I need in my life. I don't need any confusion. This is a romance book. Act like it. Come in here with your head on straight and know what you want. And he knows that he wants Soledad. So hype this up in the comments so I can actually read it. So I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it soon. Next, I have Dune Messiah by Frank Herbert, book 2 to the Dune series. I'm only a couple pages into Dune. I'm only like 80 pages in. But I've been reading a ton of other books in the midst of reading that book. So once I sit down and really, really read it, based on how much I've liked those 80 pages, I'm going to want the next one ready to go. So here she is in all her glory. She'll be sitting on my bedside table for once I'm ready to read it. Got that. I'm trying to go to the library after finishing each book. I love reading series that way, where I get the first book from the library, read it, go to the library, get the second one, read it, go to the library, get the third one. It just adds a thrill to it. You know what I mean? And that's also what I'm doing with this next series, which is the League of Extraordinary Women series by Evie Dunmore. The first book being Bring Down the Duke. One thing I've noticed about myself, I love historical romance. I love Regency romances. I really, really do. I eat it up. I really, really do. I really love a good Regency romance. So, and also Juliet on TikTok, a TikToker that I followed before I deleted TikTok also, talked about how much she loved the Brown Sisters series by Talia Hibbert. Okay, girl boss. And talked about how she loved this series just as much. And anybody that says that they love the Brown Sisters series, I automatically trust everything that you're about to recommend, because you know what you're talking about. So after she said that, I was like, obviously, I've got to pick this series up because you've got taste in romance. And so I'm going to give this a chance. I think it's like 4 or 5 books long. So hopefully I get obsessed with it and I have all of this content to consume. And I'm probably going to start this after finishing the Veronica Speedwell series, because I'm on my last 2 books of the series. And there's going to be a hole in my heart from finishing that series. I'm going to be deeply sad. So I'll have something to entertain myself with. Those are all the books that I've bought and checked out from the library recently. I'll see you in my next video, which will probably be a little reading vlog. So bye.